Hi everyone, I'm Todd. Welcome to another edition of AI-Powered PM. Today I'm going to show you the best way to go from messy input into structured planning content. You'll never write planning content the same way again. Watch this. So here we are. This is a messy, dirty meeting transcript. You can see it's unstructured. There's a lot of people talking. It's chaos. But now you see that same input transformed into a beautiful user story, complete with a diagram explaining exactly what's going on and in well-structured markdown file format. Now you see that same content automatically created at ADO. Here's the user story with your description, and you didn't have to lift a finger hardly. Even better, all the task details are in the tasks, and the hours that are estimated for that task are auto-populated. As PMs, we spend way too much time on administrative work. We sit in meetings, we take notes, and then we spend hours after the meeting drafting artifacts and obsessing about exactly the wording and trying to make everything consistent. And then we manually enter stuff into Azure DevOps. But here's the thing. This is exactly the kind of structured, repetitive work that AI excels at. So let's jump into it. Visual Studio Code Copilot lets you shape how AI actually behaves via three powerful tools: Copilot instructions, and prompts. These are mostly designed for devs, but since we are AI-powered PMs, we're going to repurpose two of these constructs to simplify our lives. Copilot instructions tell the AI how to act across this project or folder. Prompts are predefined steps that tell the AI what you want it to do. Okay, so now let's look at a real example of those constructs, and we'll start with Copilot instructions. Let's spend some time reading through. So, how to use this repo with AI. You put your raw content file in the input folder. It gives an example. You choose a prompt from the prompts folder. There's just one right now, and we'll look at it in a second. Then you run your AI agent to apply the chosen prompt to your input file. Agent should read the input file, use the prompt, and generate a markdown result, and then save the result in my output folder as a markdown file. And then it gives an example. And then it gives an example workflow for the inputs and the prompt and the output. And then the folder structure. It tells the Copilot to keep it simple, make sure it's clear and focused, and the output files are always in Markdown. And then it goes into some formatting guidelines around the Markdown files and things you should do and things that you don't want the AI to do. And then it gives an example. So these are the instructions for the whole folder or project. Now, if we look at the prompts, I got this from Dean Peters' GitHub. It's an open source project with a bunch of different PM process prompts. So I'd use that as a starting point, but I did customize it a little bit for my purposes. This is just my sandbox environment. This isn't, my actual one that I use or anything, but it'll be enough to give you the idea. So this is the user story map template. I want to see the mermaid diagram for the overview. And then standard user story stuff. As a persona, I want the action capabilities so that I can, business value outcome. And then more details about what you want it to do. And then create tasks to support the user story. My ADO project in sprint planning uses hours, so I have it provide an estimate of the hours for each task and then some success metrics. So that is the user story mapping prompt. Now take a look at the input. I had AI generate me an example meeting transcript. So it's messy, just like a normal meeting's going to be. You see that it's people talking. They talk generally about what they want for their user story mapping to be. In this case, it's a frequent business traveler feature. It's a lot of back and forth here, and it's really rough. So now let's see it in action. So let's make this a little bigger, and let's do the prompt you use hashtag in order to reference your file. So frequent businesstravelers.txt as the input file, and the user story mapping.md as the template file. Generate a file in the output folder. I'll create a user story based on Contoso error meeting notes in the user story mapping. Let me analyze the input and generate the output file. All right, it's working. It's got the initial. Okay, now let's select to keep it. Let's preview this and this will give us a little bit better look at it. Let's start with this diagram. This is the mermaid diagram. This is how you do diagrams within Markdown. Let's change the settings here. I like the dark studio, but these mermaid diagrams show up better with the light theme. Let's change that to light just for a minute. Okay, so the feature is quick flight change for business travelers. The user story is self-service flight rebooking. And then it goes through each of the tasks that needs to happen to get implemented. So you add a change flight button to the trip card, build alternate flight search engine, create flight for comparison interface, implement one-click rebooking flow, add task usage. It's got that same user story construct that we had in the template. So as a frequent business traveler, I want to change my flight directly in Contoso Air when my schedule shifts so that I can adapt to last-minute meeting changes without calling support or navigating airline websites. And then it goes into more details on each of the tasks and what the estimates are. And then it estimates the sprint planning, and then the pain points and success metrics. So now we've got it here. And let's change this back to dark. Much better on my eyes. Let's see what we have here. This is my backlog in my sandbox environment. So to me, this most closely aligns with this online ticket booking feature. So let's see what ID this one is. So this is ID 7, and let's give it a prompt here to actually create those items for us. So let's say create the user story and child tasks for pound frequent business traveler story map.md. Make the user story a child of feature 7. Convert the markdown to HTML when doing the creation of ADO items so they look nice. Now this is where ADO MCP comes in, and it says, okay, I'm going to create the main user story. With these, you're going to have to hit continue a lot. I haven't found a way around that. You're just going to have to click continue a lot. Drop in the comments if there's a better solution for it, but it sure beats the heck out of having to do it manually. Okay, so it says it created it. Now it's going to create the 5 child tests under the user story and update the original estimate field for each task. That sounds great. I like that idea a lot. All 5 tasks have been created successfully. Now I'll update each task with the hours. All right, now it is claiming success. Let's go back and update this page. And online ticket booking, so good. I see self-service flight rebooking for business travelers. So it's got the description, all the details that we saw in that MD file are there that are related to the user story. And let's click into one of the tasks, and it's got a description and acceptance criteria, and it's even got the hours. So I didn't show you all the prerequisites to make this work. I think my plan around that is I'm going to publish a guide with all the links up on my GitHub repo, which will appear in the upper right of this video there. And let me just walk you through briefly what you need to do. First thing you need to do is you need Visual Studio Code installed. So that's this program we're working in now. And then let's go into extensions. And you're going to need GitHub Copilot chat extension installed. You're going to need a GitHub account in order for you to use that extension. And once you register with GitHub on an account, they actually give you a free trial to get access to the LLM models. You get a limited number of hours with it. So you need GitHub Copilot chat, and you need GitHub Copilot, and then you need this Markdown preview mermaid support so you can see those mermaid diagrams I showed you. And then you're going to need one MCP server installed, which is called Azure DevOps. Here's what's really happening and why it matters. People don't start with Google anymore. They start with ChatGPT. As AI-powered PMs, we're taking that further. We're using AI as the interface between us and tools. We used to stare at blank pages and manually transform content into planning documents. Now, prompts do that transformation. Less effort, higher quality, great consistency. We don't manually create ADO items anymore. We have AI generate them, and we verify the results. The general workflow goes raw inputs to AI transformation to human verification to completion. Better consistency, a fraction of the time, and less errors. So here's my challenge to you. Tell me in the comments what other PM busy work you currently have to do that you think could be automated. There's probably a way to do it. And if you could like and subscribe, that would really help me grow the channel. Thank you very much.